Hi guys, my name is Bethany Montecalvo, aka Go Organic. Today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Safe Cosmetics. A couple months ago, I went to a Safe Cosmetics meeting and it was held in Pittsburgh. It's a wonderful, wonderful organization that gives us so many resources. And you can go to www.safecosmetics.org and you can also plug in any type of skincare product or makeup product into the database. In the meeting we talked about a whole bunch of different things. I took little clippets of everyone and what we were basically talking about, and it's a great group of gals just coming together, and basically they want to educate people, we want to educate people on really don't believe what's out there, what is considered safe. Deodorant, lipstick, foundation, body lotion, hairspray, shampoo. You need to educate yourself. You can't rely on other people to tell you what's best for you. So I just want to show you this clip a little bit of videos. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah. So there's an organization, a national organization, young people working together called Teens Turning Green. And there were teens from California, teens from Pittsburgh, teens from New York, all teaming up to help show up at Abercrombie & Fitch stores and protest this. And Michelle, you had some involvement with that? Or you know about folks who had some involvement with that?
Well, so for the release of the report, Not So Sexy, which identifies 17 colognes, perfumes, body sprays that are really common and that folks use. And so the names are, we have Victoria's Secret, and we had Abercrombie & Fitch, we had American Eagle. There was just a whole host of those things. So what Women for Healthy Environment did, one of the first things we did the day that the report was released, is we had a press conference here in town to raise awareness about that, and that was covered by local media. And so we want to take that to the next step though, and so we're still working on our strategy, but what we want to do is talk with some of the businesses that were identified in there, some of them locally based, and say, this is a great opportunity for you to be a model in the community in this particular issue. So let's see if we can work together to look at new formulations for the products, because we talk about some of the issues related to the ingredients in the products that we use, and so when we talk about phthalates, you're not going to pick up a bottle of Fierce and see that it says phthalate on it necessarily, because essentially it's a hidden ingredient in fragrance. And so for those who haven't heard this interesting statistic, fragrance is a loophole in essentially the federal regulations. And so over 3,000 different chemicals can make up the term fragrance. So essentially when you have fragrance on a bottle, it could be dozens of different chemicals and you don't know what they are because they're not described and they don't have to be disclosed to you. So we think this is an opportunity as well to really have some leaders out there in terms of green chemistry and really wanting to reformulate some products. So that's what we did in terms of the Not So Sexy report, in terms of just general awareness building and wanting people to get more engaged in that. But I will turn it over to Heather Arnay. She actually had done, her organization had worked with Abercrombie, with her girls, to really raise awareness about Abercrombie & Fitch. It was on a different level. It wasn't about the Not So Sexy report, but really it was in terms of marketing initiatives to young girls. So I'll just let you talk a little bit about that in terms of advocacy, awareness, and building.
Sure, and I have a clip we could show later too of the girls with the Girl Cut stuff if we have time, but I know a lot of people locally know about, we had done a big girl cut against Abercrombie & Fitch for sexist and racist t-shirts, and that was led by 24 teens here in Allegheny County, and they were really successful. They got the shirts pulled off the market, and they got, I think more importantly, a meeting with the senior executive team of Abercrombie & Fitch at their corporate headquarters. It's sort of the part that not everybody, I mean, people knew about it, but that might not have seemed as sexy. We thought it was the sexiest part because that's where real change happens. So we've been tracking this. It was interesting for us because when of course you think, oh, why isn't Women and Girls Foundation and their team just start, girl cutting at Abercrombie & Fitch for Fears? But one of the things we noticed in the report was that there are several other companies that are actually even worse, and one of them is local here. And this is sort of an advocacy strategy. One of the things that we think is important when you engage in advocacy is that you do it with intelligence and integrity. And so we have to look at the research, and one of the things we noticed was, you know what, Abercrombie's bad, but American Eagle's fragrance was even worse. So one thing is we could walk into Abercrombie's, you know, executive team and they would say, yeah, why are you even hassling us? This other company's worse than we are, and they're in your backyard. So that was one. And the other thing was, right, you know, information and integrity. Before you girl cut someone, you should go and meet with them and see what their story is. So we felt like American Eagle's here. We have connections to their, you know, the first thing we should do is actually probably try through connections to have quiet conversations with them first before going on some sort of big public campaign against Abercrombie and then them calling us on a bunch of facts. So we've been working, you know, Michelle's board and others have been working on that front, and I would say we're kind of like in the wings. You know, our girls are ready and willing to be engaged and engage other teens, and I think what's most important is their model shows it can be effective. One of the reasons I've always felt that the girl cut was effective was because while Abercrombie had been boycotted in the past, not to say boys aren't as effective as girls, the corporate boycotts that had happened against Abercrombie in the past were issue agencies boycotted them for issues. So, you know, a nonprofit that they offended lots of people for lots of reasons. But the reason they took the girl cut seriously is it was teenagers, right, on national television telling other teenagers not to shop at Abercrombie & Fitch because it wasn't cool anymore. And that scared them, right, because they don't care if church ladies say something or a parents group say something or an environmental group says something. But if their own market, right, is saying to their own market, don't shop here, that's what brought attention. So I absolutely agree, and we're really excited to engage more and more teens in this, all teens, because I think that's who the retailers listen to. I think when we think about environmental policy, that, you know, it's not a mystery what's between us and the change we want to see happen. It's a big, thick layer of corporate money. And so they have all this money, right? That's why they can write laws, make laws, prevent laws from going into place. I mean, it's not that they are more articulate than we are. It's not that they're more passionate than we are. But they have a lot of money. And with that money, they pay lobbyists. And those lobbyists are trained in government relations, and they're on Capitol Hill every single day, right? And they have people who are writing the legislation that gets passed and making sure that the legislation they don't want to get passed does not get passed. And so I'm sort of skipping to the quick here because I know we don't have a lot of time, but also because, like, that's what it's really about. And so last year we took teens to meet with their legislators on several different occasions, both at the district level and in DC. And I myself also, and some of our board members, did legislative visits. And one of the things that I learned is, I don't know, you would think I shouldn't be a Pollyanna optimist at this stage of the game, but I guess I still am, because I went into these meetings with some of these legislators that I know consider themselves sometimes sort of liberal, or who might even just, I'm going in and I think, oh, that's a human being. And how could that human being be against this legislation, right? Like, what could possibly be in this that you would be against? Especially because a lot of these guys, and they are all guys, because as you all know, here in Pennsylvania, we only have one woman representing us in the legislature in DC. That's Congresswoman Allison Schwartz, and she's from Philadelphia. So except for Allison, everybody else we're meeting with are men, right? And they're all white men, and you know, most of them come from well-off backgrounds. So they come with privilege, but they're also a significant number of them are fathers of daughters. So anyway, we thought, oh, we'll go in and we'll just say we're here to support. We want you to support the Toxic and Safe Chemicals Act. It'll be easy breezy. It'll be just, you know, easy conversation. Not like when we go and talk to them about reproductive rights. And boy, were we wrong. Boy, were we wrong, because it's not easy. Because before we got there, you know, a whole list of corporations had been there before us, right? And they give those guys a lot of campaign contributions, right? And they're there every day. We felt so proud. There we were with the girls, you know, on a day. But those guys are there every day. So that's where you come in, because we need all of us meeting with our legislators all the time, right? We need to bring our daughters and our sisters and our mothers and our cousins and our best friends and everyone from church, temple, or our mosque with us, because they need to hear from us as much as they're hearing from them. And they need to know that we might not have that big layer of money, but we have our voices and we have our votes, and that we're going to use both.
54% of the vote, women. 60% of college graduates are women. And 85% of the consumer product purchasing is by women.
Virginia is for lovers. In fact, some shirts are getting so graphic. A group of young women in Pennsylvania is calling for a boycott or girl-cott of the store that sells them.
These tees are so provocative, some young women have decided to take action with a message of their own.
And we decided that enough is enough and to do something about this.
At a news conference over the weekend, a group of women in Pennsylvania called for a boycott, or as they call it, a girl-cott, to force retail giant Abercrombie & Fitch to stop selling the shirts.
16-year-old Emma Blackman Mathis and 13-year-old Jetty Fields are two of the teens involved in the girl-cott, and Heather Arnay is executive director of the Women and Girls Foundation of Southwest Pennsylvania, which sponsors the girls' youth group. Jetty, you're only 13 years old. Tell me why you wanted to get involved in this so-called girl-cott and why you find these sort of distasteful.
Well, basically, I saw some of my friends wearing them at school, and it really just disgusts me because it's just offensive. And like I said in one of my quotes that was in the newspaper, I said, we would not want anyone to exploit us, so why are we exploiting ourselves?
Heather, I'm curious, how did this all come about? You represent an organization which sounds like a really great group. You all give grants to different foundations or organizations?
The Women and Girls Foundation of Southwest PA has a mission to achieve equity for women and girls in our region. And this fall we collaborated with 3 other foundations to start a Girl Grant Makers group. We set aside $10,000 and the girls are actually going to give that money away to other girls who do projects throughout the county. When they started to do research and talk to girls about what were issues, these t-shirts came up. And it came up in a conversation and the girls just went with it. And I think what was most important to them was they realized that if they didn't like something, they could speak out about it and that they could get other girls to do so too, and they could start leveraging their dollars. And so if they didn't like it, they could stop buying it. And that's what we wanted to support, was then taking a social action.
Tonight, as we speak, some teenage girls near Pittsburgh are celebrating a victory they just won hours ago against a corporate giant. Abercrombie & Fitch has decided to pull 2 controversial t-shirts out of its stores. T-shirts the girls say are demeaning to women. And joining me now, 2 of the Pittsburgh area young women who are behind the battle against Abercrombie & Fitch, 16-year-old Yamer Mutelu and 14-year-old Elizabeth Clark.
Well, women have worked so hard in the past to help get women the vote and equal opportunity, and these t-shirts are really just bringing us back, talking about how girls are stupid, putting blondes against brunettes, talking about how being sexy is more important than academics. I think this is just really wrong. It's extremely offensive.
And what's going to happen now, we're very excited, of course, that they're pulling these incredibly offensive shirts, that they've recognized the girls' message. But what's even more exciting is that they've invited this group of girls to come to their corporate headquarters